By the power vested in me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, certificates and degrees, with all their associated rights and privileges, will be awarded to or conferred on the candidates whose names appear in the program. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as Emeritus Vice Principal of the University of Pretoria, I would like to extend a hearty word of welcome to you at this graduation ceremony. And the welcome that I extend to you is one in which we celebrate the achievements of the students in our Faculty of Education. I'm particularly honored to have the privilege to stand in for the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, who is not able to attend the ceremony this afternoon. And in particular, I would like to warmly welcome all parents, families, and friends of our diplomats and graduands. And in addition to that, we are honored by the presence of the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Professor Sihuli, who will be presenting the candidates, and the Deputy Dean, and heads of departments, professors and staff of the university, Dr. Machecha from the Department of Student Administration, and I would also like to welcome the presence of the representative of the SRC. Now, to our graduates and to our guests this afternoon, I would like to indicate to you that officiating at a graduation ceremony is one of the most uplifting and inspiring official duties that a university functionary can undertake. To experience it firsthand and share in the joy felt not only by our graduates, but also by family, friends, and loved ones who supported you through your years of study, remains a privilege that affirms one's belief in the future. Twice a year, in autumn and spring, the University of Pretoria celebrates the success of our students at a series of graduation ceremonies. By the time the last student is capped at a ceremony which will be held on the 23rd of May, we will have had a total of 30 autumn graduation ceremonies, during which we will have conferred 11,600 degrees, diplomas, and certificates. And among these individuals, there will be 186 doctorates and 1,376 master's degrees. So this is a substantial contribution to the development of our country. For the Faculty of Education, we have a total of 1,512 degrees, diplomas, and certificates that will be conferred in 5 of our autumn graduation ceremonies. And from the faculty, there will be 9 doctoral graduates. And I'm very pleased to say that we have 4 of them here this afternoon to receive their degrees. Worldwide universities are increasingly expected to fulfill their social responsibility by playing an active role in fostering the achievement of their societies. In South Africa, This specifically includes advancing the transformation and development imperatives of our country, improving student access and success to meet scarce and critical skills needs for the country's economic development is not only one of our national priorities, but is also reflected in 2 of the university's 5 strategic goals. And these 2 are access and successful student learning, and that's what we celebrate today, and strengthening our social responsiveness and impact in society. Our graduates who proceed into the world of work as employees, entrepreneurs, and future leaders remain the most tangible proof of our contribution in this regard. And the numbers I referred to earlier indicate the magnitude of the contribution this university is making. Yet for all that, important as it may be to produce graduates in sufficient numbers to meet national needs, this will have no value if such graduates do not have the high-level skills and knowledge required to be successful in their chosen fields. At the University of Pretoria, the quality of the qualifications we offer our students is paramount and will remain that way because our unwavering commitment to excellence will always be a hallmark of our teaching, learning, and research, and all the other components of the holistic education we provide at UP. This year's edition of the World University Rankings by subject places UP in the top 250 world universities for the subject education and training. And the university as a whole is ranked 49th amongst all the BRICS universities. Thus, despite the challenging circumstances in which we find ourselves, the university is focused on providing internationally competitive qualifications to its graduates. This is particularly true in the case of the Faculty of Education, which has the nationally crucial mission of providing graduates who will ensure that our education system delivers the kind of education that will lead to the growth and the well-being of our populations. Graduates, may I conclude by congratulating each and every one of you on your achievements and inviting you to enjoy this occasion with us. Your presence here today is all the proof you need that you have met the highest standards of quality and excellence, which are the hallmarks of a qualification from the University of Pretoria, and can celebrate your success with those who supported you along your journey and bask in the pride of your accomplishment. We trust that during the time that you have spent at UP, and despite the hard work and commitment required to achieve success, you have accumulated many happy memories, have formed friendships and networks that will last a lifetime, and have acquired values and a work ethic that will serve you well in the future. With a qualification from the University of Pretoria's Faculty of Education, we know that you will be well positioned to realize your career goals, whatever they may be. Thank you. I now request the Dean and supervisors to introduce me to the candidates present whose names appear in the program.
Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the postgraduate certificate in education, senior phase and further education and training teaching. Pamela Ann Berry. Trevor Bjerkes. Leon Buesen. Bundle Boshomani. With distinction, Samantha Brand. Hanlika Erasmus. Tulile Gambushe. Tembekile Kumalo. Alstin Kleinhans. With distinction, Karina Machado Fernandez. Katleho Mahongwa. Dibolo Makula. Katleho Malachi. Catherine Matibidi. Tsepo Matlaketla. With distinction, Naudette McDarling. Tebogo Mogotsi. Mamo Namo Maupa. Naletsana Mutswane. Huitsimang Mumakwe. Gordon Muller. Elisna Maybuk. Mtlamulo Ngobeni. Derek Nganyani. Nika Pretorius. With distinction, Ronel Reinecke. Elzima Rue. Elzan Stein. Sbusiso Chigabe. Antje van der Westhuizen. Donahue Adams. Mike Albus. Dudu Baloyi. Genevieve Beck. John Borke. Nkensani Chimusi. With distinction, Sarah Tlavin. Zoe Degenaar. Abby Duprier. With distinction, Bridget Forey. Keegan Francis. With distinction, Michelle Harber. Stembile Gumede. Tayani Hatting. With distinction, Erin Hill. Carla Janse van Vieren. Anushka Janse van Rensbeck. Janine Jordan. Katlego Konkobe. Pinshuan Lee. Milandri Lombard. Ramatsimela Maesela. Berlin Mahuele. Chelsea Maher. Nompendula Makuma. Elizabeth Makua. Nkoto Malevia. Ladies and gentlemen, let us cheer our graduates. Virginia Mashilo. Ponso Muepia. Machweni Mujela. Ntabeleng Makolise. With distinction, Kimale Moro. Sandre Mostert. Kabu Mutadi. Bongiyo Ngube. Nonhlanhla Ngobeni. Tshegofatso Nkgwang. Samuel Nguna. Shanna Olivier. Makari Pala. Sulufelo Poko. Julia Ramputa. Annemie Rulovse. Paul Skuman with distinction. Sianego Serane. Kyobakele Sekota. Modipeulua Sarumi. Mbileng Sikukuni. Griselda Smith. Hermana Spultra. Daniela Dafani. Mapeko Tau. Sikidi Tlobatra. Jean-Marie van Aswegen. Monique van der Linde. With distinction, Joanil Venter. Natasha Vermeulen. Friedrich von Giesen. Kanya Zanka. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Education in Intermediate Phase. Shaida Abdul. Sadia Abu Ghani. Thomas Adlam. Brittany Bergsma. With distinction, Sinel Bosman. Martelise Boertes. Jacqueline Bosveld. With distinction, Natasha Chelemu. Candace Cord. Jaime Kutsie. With distinction, Mariska Cronje. Meshia de Hilster. With distinction, Yen-Marie Diager. With distinction, Juanita Dell. Jan Boerland Deisel. With distinction, Marilee Duvenache. Cherise Egan. With distinction, Nidia Els. Nastasia Fodiadis. With distinction, Daniela Georgiev. Jade Gore. Cassandra Greco. With distinction, Lizanne Hrobla. With distinction, Hei Yung Guang. Lorraine Hadley. With distinction, Altas Hienes. Samira Hussein. Offense Kabeni. Jeanette Kabini. Kabinga Kanangila. With distinction, Mantwa Khatla. With distinction, Zamantungwa Kumalo. Chantal Krogamp. With distinction, Junior Krier. With distinction, Lelani Krier. Oliswa Kubeka. Simpiwe Langa. Obinis Roshan Lewis. Claudia Liebenberg. With distinction, Candice Lucas. Karabo Mabasa. Lindy Mabena. Nes Mabena. Suela Madiba. Chwanelo Maema. Lindokuhle Mahlangu. Sara Mahlangu. Daniel Makola Yabe. Rashad Malchas. Walter Mamashele. Kunadi Mamba. Buitumelo Manamela. Derek Matebula. With distinction, Peño Matibe. Catherine Milner. With distinction, Ngobile Mkachwa. Zanele Mkhwanazi. With distinction, Xoliwe Mnyamana. Mpho Morake. Dimakatso Mose. With distinction, Kiabetswe Mutaung. With distinction, Tshegofatso Mutsumi. With distinction, Mareike Muton. Tokoloho Mpitsa. With distinction, Khayelihle Mbungoze. Ntombifuthi Msiza. Avital Nomaston. With distinction, Thandiwe Nkambule. Thandile Nkomonde. Nonhle Nkuna. Notlolo Mnomka. Nongebo Numalo. With distinction, Roselle O'Connor. With distinction, Roselle Otto. Ye Jean Park. With distinction, Elaine Phillips. With distinction, Lisa Pickering. Carla Piso. Anek Potgieter. Janika Pretorius. Shani Pretorius. Morning Ramunana. Charlotte Skuman. With distinction, Megan Schulz. Katlego Sithebe. With distinction, Tembeka Shabalala. Leah Shabangu. Zakira Shabir Ibrahim. Mbalis Banyoni. With distinction, Nompulelelo Sitole. Leanne Smith. With distinction, Megan Smith. With distinction, Marilee Storm. Ilandri Stradom. Shazin Sulman. Candice Swart. Jessica Swartz. With distinction, Nongululeko Shabangu. Sydney Choba. Khunze Tswai. With distinction, Bianca van Biljoen. Chandra van der Heide. Annelie van der Westhuizen. Tegan van der Westhuizen. With distinction, Donnie van Staden. Karika van Zyl. With distinction, Liz van Zyl. Vanessa Viljoen. Odile Visa with distinction. Tyler Webb with distinction. And this candidate also receives the B.Ed Intermediate Phase Award for the best student in the degree B.Ed Intermediate Phase. Lungisani Qaba. With distinction, Lungile Yende. In further education and training, economic and management science, Hierarchy Arnolds. Tamrin Odi. Joanita Buesen. Nompumelelo Dlamini. Ayanda Kumbuza. Thomas Maseko. Gillian McKay. Nonhlanhla Mtimunye. Sweetness Nkoleka. Shireen Stein. With distinction, Sunay van der List. And this student also received the prize for the best student in the B.Ed degree, further education and training in economic and management sciences. Iron Williams. In further education and training, human movement, science, and sport management, Jessica Abrahams. Eloise Annandale. Lianza Barker. Dirk Barnett. Monique Buota. Reinhard Bradenhan. Tony Kutzer. Madeleine Crawford. Dirk de Klerk. Chantal Delbert. Julia Duval. Christian Devet. Maxine Fibiger. Sanka Gravenstein. Eben Harrison. Moniza Heymans. Kayla Holm. Teresa Houghton. Ignatius Janse van Vieren. Brittany Hubert. Pierre Compagnie. Gabrielle Kotze. Michaela Lagrange. Sean McCrano. With distinction, Paige Morris. Kabelo Mpake. Donovan O'Grady. Michael Petzer. Adele Pfeiffer. Chamonix Skippers. Reinhard Skuman. Rudolf Smith. Ruan Steenkamp. Etienne Stepp. Shall we give them another round of applause? With distinction, Roland Stein, and this student also receives a prize for the best student in the degree B.Ed Further Education and Training in Human Movement Sciences and Sport Management. Mishka Supra. Quentin Dalliard. Marco van der Merwe. Elizabeth Jeanette van de Vender. Adam van Niekerk. Andre Warner. In further education and training, natural sciences, Natasha Button. Simone Brodges. Hilda Daval. Joanne Dessel. Dick Koza. Nosipo Lusenga. Kutso Mabelane. Brandon Maloney. Ntsieni Masunda. Tabo Maudi. Nontokozo Mkondo. Temosho Munye. Ming Sung. Johannes Swart. With distinction, Bianca van der Merwe. And this student also receives a prize for the best student in the degree B.Ed Further Education and Training, Natural Sciences. Aldrich van der Waald. Melissa Wannenberg. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Education Honors in Computer Integrated Education. Helena Alexander. Zahira Kasim. Ilse Kutsie. Samkele Siwe Juba. Silo Lehobie. Sianukeng Mutlabani. With distinction, Janine Peniel. Omari Pinar. Amy Speway. Matome Tlhako. With distinction, Hanno Trump. In science and mathematics education, Sarah Bauer. Apologies, Vice Principal. This student receives her degree with distinction. Anna Sarah Bauer. Hildegard Brummer. Liani Jacobs. Yugi Kitsa. Vivian Maseko. Magdalene Mukhabudi. Pumozo Ramufufi. Emmanuel Sibeko. In life sciences education, Monica Maria. In technology education, Christian Kampfer. In mathematics education, Ashley Landis. Victor Pila. Gizal Stobravi. Mr. Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Education. With distinction, Nabila Qasim. Laura Duplessis. Venice Hubert. Grace Kikana. Patricia Makubele. With distinction, Clement Bowani. With distinction, Chevalier Negrini. Ipfani Ntulana. With distinction, Marianne Reynolds. Anna Roberts. Nadia Swanepoel. With distinction, Linda van Aert. Mr. Vice Principal, the supervisors will now introduce the doctoral candidates.
Mr. Vice Principal, I introduce to you Mr. Mandlokunkosi Nhlanhla Dlamini, who has complied with the requirement for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with his thesis titled Understanding and Teaching Climate Change in Secondary Education Curriculum in Swaziland. This thesis was prepared under my supervision and with Professor William Fraser as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendus utilized an exploratory research design approach to investigate the understanding and teaching of climate change in the secondary geography curriculum in Swaziland. Data captured comprised of mixed and semi-structured questionnaires, focus group interviews, as well as document analysis in the form of secondary records. Numerous gaps and misconceptions were found to exist in learners' and teachers' understanding of climate change education. Although the teachers generally supported the integration of this into the geography curriculum, they cited major challenges such as lack of proper training on climate change education, a shortage of teaching resources in this field, and also an overcrowded geography curriculum. The findings indicated that there is an urgent need for the Ministry of Education and Training not only to teach teachers in climate change and to train them in climate change education, both at in-service and pre-service level, but also provide resources to ensure that through teaching, future generations will become aware and understand climate change and, as lifelong learners, take up the challenge. It is believed that insights gained through this education process should influence their decision-making in favor of a sustainable future of this planet. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Vice Principal, I'd introduce to you Donna Ann Mary Hanaway, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled The Exploration and Development of a Framework for Technology-Based Teaching and Learning in the Foundation Phase, prepared under my supervision and with Professor G.D. Kamper as co-supervisor. In a thesis, the promovenda explored technology-based teaching and learning through a conceptual lens, which included the theories of behaviorism, constructivism, and connectivism, the generation theory, and the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge framework. Qualitative data was generated from 3 cases in order to understand the experiences of technology-based teaching and learning, or TBTL, in the foundation phase. The novel original contribution that this study makes is a framework for TBTL in the foundation phase, which is relevant to understanding teachers' and learners' experiences of the phenomenon TBTL in the foundation phase. It is not a step-by-step guide as such, but rather an indication of the core elements that should be considered by any role player using TBTL in this phase. It is anticipated that using this framework as a guide to TBTL in the foundation phase will assist in creating teachers and learners who are digitally literate, lifelong learners with developed 21st century skills. Mr. Vice Rector, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Mr. Emeritus Vice Principal, I introduce to you Mapule Martha Malaji, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Teachers and Elders' Perceptions of Using Folktale Story Singing when Teaching Setswana to Young Children, prepared under the supervision of Professor J.C. Joubert and myself, Professor Patudi, as a co-supervisor. In her thesis, the promovenda utilized a qualitative case study approach. She sampled elders and teachers of grade 3 classes from rural villages situated in 4 provinces where Setswana is used as a language of teaching and communication. She employed group interviews, observations, documentations, field notes, and photo voice as research instruments. Her research objectives were to investigate the folktale story songs teachers and elders know, how they use them, how songs were portrayed in the learners' books to communicate Botswana culture, customs, traditions, identity, and language. Theories of structuralism, functional linguistic, and ethnography of communication framed the study. Findings reveal that teachers approach folktale story songs by reading instead of giving them melody, denying the learners the enjoyment of rhythm, pitch, tone, and kinesthetic movement embedded in singing. They were also challenged by folktale storybooks containing songs that they could not sing, with spelling errors and English words, making it difficult for Setswana language to survive extinction. Elders, through old and fragile, demonstrated to have knowledge of singing folktale story songs to young children, often grasping opportunities to perform singing at the chief's crawl. This study proposes the preservation of folktale story songs in tonic solfa notation and the recording of the melodies. Mr. Emeritus Vice Principal, I therefore request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Khabo mokgatla o dirile. Mr. Emeritus Vice Principal, I introduce to you Stephen Ezrom Masote, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Teachers' Understanding and Implementation of Values Education in the Foundation Phase, prepared under my supervision and with Professor J.C. Joubert as co-supervisor. In his thesis, The promovendus undertook a case study involving 12 teachers from 4 schools located in 2 provinces. The study explored how the life skills subject teachers in grade 2 contextualized and implemented the teaching of values education in the classroom context. Values are said to be culture-bound, and therefore the research aimed to find out how teachers reconciled the traditional values with the values enshrined in the Constitution and the school curriculum. The study revealed how teachers contextualize values and values education in different ways. Moreover, the research revealed a number of challenges faced by teachers in the implementation of values education. These challenges include teachers' understanding of values education, family dynamics, support from government, and a decline in societal values. Based on these findings, it is recommended that life skills subject teachers be given a rigorous training in values education. It is also recommended that a home language curriculum should be adapted to create room for learners who speak a language other than the Lord. A relationship of trust should be established between schools and parents to prepare the way for parental involvement in their children's education. Furthermore, the Department of Education should address the issue of moral decay in the South African society. Mr. Emeritus Vice Principal, I therefore request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate. I now request the Dean to introduce to me the candidate for the presentation of the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal in the Faculty of Education.
Mr. Vice Principal, I have the honor to introduce to you Taylor Jade Webb for the presentation of the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal. Taylor Webb complied with all the requirements for the degree B.Ed intermediate phase on the 30th November 2016, and the degree was conferred on her today with distinction. She distinguished herself during the course of all 4 years of study for the B.Ed degree as the overall top achiever on undergraduate level in the Faculty of Education. Mr. Vice Principal, I request you to present the candidate with the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal.
Hereby I hereby present Taylor J. Webb with the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal for the Faculty of Education. We have now come to the end of the proceedings. Before we close, I would like to invite all present for refreshments in the tent situated in front of the Rembrandt Hall. You are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing until the assembly has been dissolved and the academic procession has left the auditorium. The words of the national anthem are printed on the inside back cover of the program. Please rise.
Manuka na Yesu kondo wayo
By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this assembly of the University of Pretoria.
Gaudeamus